Well, good morning guys, it's a fine day today. So today I thought we'd walk across the Forster-Tuncurry bridge. It's about 700 metres long. We'll go across there, have a look what's on the other side. I think it's Forster because now I'm in Tuncurry, and then I'll come back again, but I think you only need to see one way. So I'm starting on the Tuncurry side. Okay, so when we get to the other side, we'll say hello again. Scale these steps, start our trek across the bridge. So the bridge was opened on the 18th of July 1959. Before they had the bridge open, it was just ferry access between the two twin towns, Forster and Tuncurry, straddling the outlet to the Great Lakes. And this lake is Wallace Lake, going out there through the heads or through the breakwalls out to sea into the Tasman Ocean. The Tasman Sea, which is south of the Pacific Ocean, along the Australian eastern coast. It's just a two-way bridge. This guardrail here on your right, that was never there in the first place. When I was a kid growing up here, it was just a footpath, and there was no guardrail, there was no cement lip. It was just, if you came off the footpath, you came into the path of a vehicle. Now, some poor bugger did come off his push bike and did go into the path of a vehicle and got killed. Just a young bloke. But it was that point then they decided they better make it safer, being it's the only bridge across and everybody has to use it. So now, instead of it being a danger, now it's a very pleasant thing to walk across the bridge. Over there is a marina. Not many boats in there this time of year, being it is winter. Although it's a very warm day out in the sun. Just looking back there to Tuncurry. That's the fishing co-op over there. And then you run down there to the breakwall and the rock pool beach, which I've done videos from before, and out to the Tuncurry breakwall, and over that side's the Forster breakwall and coastal patrol officers. There's a few cranes on the skyline. There's always something being built around here. It's a very popular place during the holidays. Over there on this island here, that's called Miles Island, I'm not too sure actually. Used to muck around over on that island a lot. When we were kids, we'd swim across. Hey, ring your bell when you go past someone, mate. Guy needs a sidekick. Looks like the tide is running out. Are you going on, son? Just up here, there's a little indent or outdent to the footpath where you can stand and watch either. There'll be dolphins or stingrays, or the occasional whale will come in here. So as kids, we used to come up the bridge here, and if you notice, there's two lumps in the bridge. There's one down that end, and there's one there behind me. And that's where the deeper part of the channels are, where the boats will go through, especially with the higher masts. They need to drop their mast, well then they need to drop their mast, but most of them don't actually go underneath the bridge. But it is where the channels are, and it's where we used to climb up on the guardrail and do a jump. A few of the braver people would dive. I wasn't one of those people. You know, let's continue on our walk, and we'll get to the other side into Forster. Technically we're in Forster now because we're more than halfway, and then we'll have a little walk over there, and then I'll come back again. If you look at shared access, pedestrians and bikes, well of course now we've got e-scooters, but the law says if you're going to pass someone from behind and you're on a bike or a scooter, you need to ring your bell to let people know that you're behind them. You don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm in front of you walking along, I might step to the side. I've got every right to do that. And if you're coming up behind me and you don't ring a bell and I step in front of you and you hit me, well, I'll have to pay back the hit, won't I? Maybe with a headbutt. There's a little inflatable. Looks like he's heading to that yacht there. Look at his little doggy. Let's see him in on his dog. Man's best friend. So now we're going up on the Forster side of the hump to the bridge. Because there's signs everywhere saying don't jump, but during the holidays, there's kids everywhere jumping. I mean, as a local, basically it's a rite of passage. Jump from the bridge. So we jump from the bridge about here, and then swim back over there and get up on the rocks. Over on the rocks there, we used to always get some eels. So you get a bit of wire, put a hook on it, bit of bait, the eel comes up to grab it. You flick the eel out of the water up behind you, and if there's anyone standing behind you, preferably a mate that you like giving the shits to, well, you flick it into his head. Boy, do they scream. How do I know? I've had it done to me. You know, all along there out to the breakwall there's a footpath. And then going back down that one on that side, around the lake, there's also another footpath. But we won't do that one today. I'll save that one for another day. We'll just go off here and go underneath the bridge and come back up again. Sorry about the noise of all the traffic, but Forster-Tuncurry is a busy little place. It's only just over 3 hours from Sydney, an hour and a half down to Newcastle. They're the two biggest cities in New South Wales, Sydney being the biggest city in Australia. How you going, old son? So you've got different things. You've got the coastal cycleway. You've got Forster Waterside. Via the underpass. Let's go on the underpass. We go underneath this big, I think it's a Moreton Bay fig. They're very good shade trees. Pleasant place. Have your barbecues. Just meet people, have coffee. See if we can walk underneath the bridge here. Yeah, when I was growing up here, none of this was here. None of these big buildings were here. You can see down on that end there, looking back across the Tuncurry, there's some dolphins out there as well, which we didn't catch. Now if you can see them, they're just popping up over there. Yeah, so that's the Forster-Tuncurry Bridge. As I said, built in 1959, and it got rid of the old car ferry that used to go between the 2 points. And that car ferry's up the lake a bit as a rusting hulk. There's not much of it left these days, but you can still see where it was and what it was. I might just go over here and sit down and have a coffee with you guys. We'll chat. It's a nice table just over here. And just sit down at this table here. Actually got a coffee in my pocket here. Lucky it didn't spill. I put the lid on real tight. Yeah, so let's have you guys in the back. Put you up on here. Yeah, so that's the walk across the bridge. As I said, for another day, we'll go for a walk along that coastal walk. We'll do this side. I've done half of the Tuncurry side, and I put that on the vlog. So we'll put this up, and then the next one, or maybe not the next one, because I've got a couple of other places I need to get to and do. But it's pretty hard because the weather's been pretty crap. I was going to do this last Friday, but it was rainy and you could hardly see a thing. So I waited for this Friday, which today is Friday, and it's the middle of June. It's a winter's day. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just perfect. That's why the place is so busy. People come and spend their holidays here outside of the school holiday season because that's when it is packed. I mean, the population would increase by about at least 10 to 20 fold. It's just masses of people. It's exciting when you're young and you're coming up for holidays, but when you get a little bit older and you've got to come into town and do all your mundane things that you do, even though it's a beautiful place to do them in, you do get a bit pissed off with people on the roads driving like they're in a big city when it's not a big city, it's a country town. Yeah, so, but I understand people coming up here, spending their money, supporting the area and having a great time. And for some people, or for a lot of people, even for myself when I was a bit younger, the more people the merrier, the more fun you could have. But you just imagine growing up here as a kid and then everyone coming up to visit and you're running around like a crazy person doing crazy things to all the crazy tourists. Well, that's what we used to do. Well, that's what I did, especially my mate and I, Brett, and myself, Brent, used to do some crazy things. And then I went away and joined the Navy at 16, and he went away and joined the Air Force. But we're still mates, aren't we, Brett? How's it going, old son? Yeah. So we might call that one a day. Have a sip of my coffee. Because the walk back will be just the same thing. In fact, the walk back, actually I might do the walk back. And you can see all the cars coming. But if I see, well actually I'll do it if I see the dolphins. I'll put that into the video as well. If I don't, well then I'll just walk back to my car and head on back to where I live. I've got a fair few chores to do today, so if I don't get home, they're never going to get done. So now, if there's no dolphins, I'll catch you again next time. You enjoy whatever you're doing. Remember, like and subscribe, and then you'll get every drop of my videos. Will be notified to you. And yeah, maybe they're boring, or I don't know. I just like doing them. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye.